Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on OWELEKETV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. Once again, as always, we have Barrister Austin Manta, a very senior legal practitioner. We shall be discussing several topics that has to do with borders, both Nigeria and the US. And I don't think we will ever have a better guest actually to discuss these issues with. Because our guests, for those of you who have been following us, you will understand what I'm about to say right now. That our guest is someone that is apt in analysis and commentary of anything that has to do with current affairs. Thank you once again, Barrister Manta, for joining us again today.
Thank you.
All right, let's just kick in immediately. Let me play this video. Then thereafter, we'll talk about what you think about it.
Fine. Morning, sir. Forgive me if I don't say good morning to you. It hasn't been a good night.
Prof.
And definitely it's not a good morning for the world. It's
okay,
not.
Why is it not a good morning for the
what
world,
has
Prof?
just happened?
Prof, why is it not a good morning for the world? Americans decided. They are choosing their president. They have voted. They turned out in large numbers. Why is it not good?
Dr. Abati, what has just happened in the United States is a victory of crudity over refinement, a victory for all that United States should now stand for. It's a victory for what the world is not expecting from a country that says it is a bright light on a shining hill. I first went to the United States in 1962, and that America is not the America that voted for Trump yesterday. So it's just not, you must stand for rationality. You must stand for, how can you vote for somebody who's been convicted of 34 crimes? How can you vote for somebody who almost overturned an election? By what message are you sending to the rest of the world? Tell me. For us in Nigeria, in the global south, who are supposed to be fighting for democracy, for decency, for honesty, what message have you sent this morning? So, why should I say good morning?
All right, Barrister, we'll continue with this video, but I want you to comment, if you don't mind, on what you heard so far from, for those of you who don't know him, he's a very popular man. I think I consider him one of the establishments in Nigeria. He was one time foreign affairs minister. So by default, he is a diplomat. And so, Barrister, what is your, before I say what I want to say, what is your thought about what he said so far?
Well, my thought is that this is vintage Professor Bolaji Akinyemi. I did not expect to hear anything other than what he said from him. I have lost faith and respect for him, I think 20 years back, since I started knowing him as a public servant, as a diplomat, as a minister of foreign affairs. He is actually to be pitied because throughout my adult life that I have come to know him, he has never said something approximating to intellectualism. For a professor, for somebody who is a professor who has been a diplomat, who has been a foreign minister of Nigeria, I really believe that he is subpar on any level to comment on international affairs and local affairs. Now, let me just say one thing. I read the interview way before you brought up on this platform, and I asked myself,
okay,
will he support the platform, the democratic platform for Nigeria? He said he was in the US since 1962, about the time I was born. Can he say that the US of that time is the US of today? He said it's not. Are these issues that are being fought for by the Democrats, were they there in 1962? Was there transgender?
Beautiful.
Was there transgender in the US in 1962? Was there the official acknowledgement and passing into law of homosexuality? By the way, at that time, it used to be called sodomy, and it was an offense, a criminal offense, even in the US. So can he say that the platform that these people represent today, going from one obnoxious policy to another, from the word sodomy, they tried to turn to gay. Now, when they have achieved gay rights, they have turned to transgender, where your own child can be administered drugs. A child of 10 or 9 years can be administered drugs to turn into a woman or a boy, as the teachers or other people, not you, the parent, agree to. And if you, the parent, object, you can be sent to jail. Is that the platform that he wants for Nigeria?
Yeah.
Is that the democracy that he wants us in Nigeria to look forward to? So the man, I don't know, if I had not known him before, I would have said his old age and senility has caught up with him. But this has been the manner of his comments on international affairs as far back as the time I have known him. So I do not reckon his opinion, and I do not take it seriously, and I don't expect anybody to take his opinion on international affairs seriously.
Thank you so very much. I think in that case, I don't think I need to respond extensively, because you have nailed it. Actually, you've hit the hammer on the nail. That is just the reality. What he just said is just the opposite of the reality of today. The US of yesterday, US of 1962 is actually what the United States voted for in Donald Trump right now. That is exactly what they voted for. And they voted for and against all you have listed. There are so many. The US is the moral decadence in this country right now. Not just moral decadence, with the economic decadence, the moral decadence, the judicial decadence, everything, the entire fiber of the US system is just in a very, very sorry situation right now. Like you pointed out earlier, you asked a question. Can he actually can he advocate or allow, if it were in his powers, can he allow Democrat government to be established to be the ruling class in Nigeria?
Platform they want,
that's the right question.
Because, in America. Can he allow the platform
correct.
The Democrats
that is the point.
In America to be implemented in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, okay, yeah, I think that's the right way to put it. That is the point. So anyway, I think let's continue, and like you said, I lost respect for him long ago too. But I don't know, everything about him is just a contradiction. It's a conflict of what comes out of him. Actually, he is a professor, a diplomat, former minister for. That means this man have seen all in life. When it comes to exposure and civility, yet this thing I don't understand. I don't get it, and I don't even know why Arise keep featuring. Okay, they keep featuring him. I don't know, because nothing. Just like you said, yeah, like you said earlier, nothing articulate comes from him. Nothing insightful comes from him. And anyway, probably that is why he likes someone like Kamala, because Kamala is just the same. Anytime Kamala opens her mouth, Kamala Harris opens her mouth, nothing she doesn't make sense. Sense does not come out of her mouth at all. So that is the reality. Now, the truth is, I don't know why a diplomat will be this blunt, will just publicly take sides. That is why they call them diplomats. They are known to actually bury or whatever, or cover up whatever they have their feelings tells them. They are, I consider diplomats as the, okay, I don't know, politicians are the worst hypocrites, then followed by diplomats. Diplomats are the next to politicians as worst hypocrites. That's why I don't like them. Diplomacy is just a way of expressing a kind of hypocrisy. That's just the reality. Anyway, let's play on, and we'll get your opinion from the rest.
Duly noted. Now, you've given quite an intriguing analysis of Donald Trump. I'm quite interested to hear your views as to why not Kamala Harris. Where did she and the Democratic Party get it wrong?
No, I cannot do a post-mortem analysis. You know, looking back, you always have a better vision than looking forward. I don't know what she did wrong. You saw all the endorsements that she was getting. What has happened in the U.S. is, and this we must concede without being condescending, there are more poor people in the United States than there are people in the middle class or people in the upper class. There are more people who don't care for values, they just care about food on the table. They don't care about climate control or whatever it is. They want a government that will allow them to be drilling for coal, to be drilling for oil, and just to be making a living. And if that leads to flooding in Nigeria or flooding in Spain, if that leads to rain that overruns the rest of the world, they simply don't care. That we want, and the America that I grew up with was an America that at least defined its national interest without telling the rest.
Barrister, what's your thought on this?
Yes, it sounds more like somebody crying more than the bereaved.
Can you make sense out of all he said? That's the bottom line.
Exactly
make sense out of what he said, please.
He is not making much sense. He's crying more than the bereaved. The American people, millions of them, I think as at last count, about 160-something million voted. He is sitting here in Nigeria. They are sitting there. They have come a long way. They know where the shoe pinches. They know what America in 1962 used to be. And they cannot recognize their country today vis-a-vis what it used to be. And they know where the problem is. They know who is bringing the disparity between the America that used to be and the America that is today. He's talking about American values. Is it not an attempt to go back to the American values that Trump has been elected? They remove God from schools. They remove God from everything. In God we trust has been thrown away. Is it not these values that were there in 1962 that he claims he went to the U.S.? Is it not the same values that the American people want to go back to by the election of Donald Trump? By the way, when you try to cast Donald Trump as a demon, you fail to recognize that this man has ruled for 4 years. He's not just coming here. Why don't you go back and take him on his record of 4 years in office and analyze and make your analysis on the basis of the 4 years. Did America die in the 4 years that Trump ruled? What were the war situation? Were there wars between Russia and Ukraine? Were there wars between Israel and Iran and Hezbollah and the Houthis and the other people in the Middle East? What about the entire stability of the world in the 4 years that Trump was there? So when you come today to demonize Trump based on political cases that were done against him, and by the way, in all those cases, in terms of corruption, did he steal from the country? Did he help to ruin the American economy? Was any state cheated or dispossessed of their property or their money?
He did not even for 4 years. He didn't collect salary. His salary was distributed to charity organizations.
Exactly.
4 years he ruled as president.
So I thought a person claiming.
And apart from that, sorry to cut you short. Before I forget, sorry to cut you short. In the history of the U.S., there is every U.S. president became richer after they finished their tenure. All U.S. presidents became richer, except Donald Trump. Donald Trump became his wealth dipped after he finished his tenure. At the end of his tenure, his wealth dipped. In fact, he lost, I've forgotten how many, I think he lost about 400, almost a billion dollars in his wealth. So, what are we talking about here? I don't get it. Now, this man that has contested, can someone tell me what he stand to benefit as a president? That his life was at stake, his family was at stake, his business was at stake, his entire personality was at stake. Everything was at stake. Everything around him was at stake. What is it? What was he going? What is he expected to be better? Going by what he did for 4 years. After 4 years of presidency, what did he benefit from the U.S. personally? His business did not benefit. He did not benefit anything from the U.S. Like I said earlier, he lost money. And now this person again sticking everything, putting everything about him in one basket for the people of the US. How selfless can someone be? How other than what he just exhibited, what he has just exhibited is the personification of selflessness. That is the reality, Barrister.
Exactly. I was going to raise that issue because he wants to demonize the American people for voting for Trump as if they don't know what they are doing. Here is a 78-year-old billionaire. The American people see at his age, he is still going out, trying to fight for the things he believes strongly in. He didn't stand to lose anything by not contesting. He would have been enjoying his life as a wealthy billionaire. So the people are seeing it. Look at this man at his age. He has not gone to rest, but he's trying to fight for America. He has gone through hell. He has gone through persecution. In all those cases that Professor Bolaji is listing, in the minds of majority of Americans, it amounts to persecution. And they rightly called it. But he is here talking on a superficial view. And that is where I always doubt his intellectual ability. Because if you want to analyze something, put some intellect in it. He just said, okay, the man is convicted on 34 or 40-something criminal charges. I expected him to look beyond that. Yeah. Why do the American people still trust such a person who is convicted within their own courts in their own country, not even in another country? They are not that foolish. They see through all the trials, all the cases, all the charges, and they see a 78-year-old man not going home to rest, fighting. That is the American spirit. You fight for America, and they see it, they acknowledge it, and they vote for him. We, Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, or any other person, do not have the right to demonize that man, to have sleepless nights, to take Panadol for pain of another person, as he is trying to do today. He is a terrible disappointment.
You're very right. You can't be more right than what you just said. Honestly, all you said, and that is the reality. Unfortunately, he's always on this platform, this Arise platform, always, especially this show specifically, because the show is actually anti-Trump as well. Especially Rufai. Rufai has been so aggressive against Trump. The worst part is you ask them what is their gross against Trump. Nothing other than sentimental stuff. Everything sentimental, nothing objective. Anyway, to God be the glory. God has prevailed over the US, and that is just the reality. We thank God, and we are celebrating that. US in the next 4 years at least, US will be a better country.
Let's also ask them, both Rufai Hussaini and Professor Bolaji Akemi, what Nigeria as a country gained from Joe Biden in his 4 years.
Correct. We will get to that. There is another video I will be playing. We will get to that on the next segment.